Hi, I'm Michael, and this is California. And according to FEMA, the funds for 7 states' extended unemployment benefits have begun to run out, leaving unemployed in these states without the $300 extended unemployment benefits as we approach the end of the month. Additionally, Republican senators are hoping that their newfound unity around their skinny stimulus bill will increase pressure on Nancy Pelosi to continue negotiating the next round of stimulus packages. And Steve Mnuchin, chief White House negotiator and Treasury Secretary, says that now is not the time to worry about the deficit, as our deficit reaches the top end of our debt ceiling. So tonight we're talking about the $300 extended unemployment benefits, Republican strategy to pressure Nancy Pelosi, and Steve Mnuchin's sky is the limit approach to our national deficit. Now this is your 5-minute nightly dose, so let's make this quick. But before we do that, if you like this information, if you find it interesting, if you find it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. In many states, people are just starting to receive their $300 Trump extended unemployment benefits. Recall, these are the ones from President Trump's executive order back in August. FEMA announced today that the Lost Wage Assistance Program, or the LWA, has already officially ended in states Arizona, Iowa, Massachusetts, Montana, New Hampshire, Tennessee, and Texas. Over the life of the program, states are expected to receive more money now than was initially anticipated under the executive order. In the executive order, it was only guaranteed states would receive 3 weeks of extended unemployment, while now states are expected to close down the LWA program with a total of 6 weeks of extended unemployment benefits for their residents. That's as long as they applied before September 10th. So the big question for folks on unemployment now is, what happens? Well, at this point, there isn't much left to do. Unfortunately, most of the out-of-the-ordinary options to provide unemployment benefits have already been exhausted, and states residents now will have to rely on Congress to pass something through the usual method of legislation to provide the extra support they're going to need moving forward. Some Republicans, on the other hand, are hoping that last week's failed vote on the Republican skinny bill will clear the GOP members of the title of stallers and start to increase pressure on Nancy Pelosi to continue to negotiate her terms for the next stimulus package, ideally before the election in November. At this point in time, all the Republican senators in the Senate, except for Rand Paul from Kentucky, have voted in favor of the skinny stimulus bill, which has a cost between $500 billion and $700 billion. The failure in it passing through the Senate was as a result of GOP senators not having the necessary 60 votes to bypass the Democratic filibuster. Of course, this bill is still worlds away from the negotiated stimulus bill price of $2.2 trillion that Pelosi had previously come down to. But the Republican strategy is to signal to the public and to their Democratic colleagues that they are at least willing to approve something. This, coupled with the White House chief negotiator Steve Mnuchin, who has floated the idea of $1.5 trillion being acceptable to the president, puts the pressure back on Nancy Pelosi, especially because she has 117 House Democrats who sent her a letter asking her to take up the Work Relief and Security Act, which is yet another smaller bill that has gained a lot of support from both sides. If passed, it would provide an extended $600 a week in federal employment assistance to out-of-work Americans until unemployment rates go back to normal. Lastly tonight, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has emphasized that, quote, now is not the time to worry about shrinking the deficit or shrinking the Fed balance sheet, end quote, which appears to be a swipe directly at his GOP counterparts in the Senate, who have been increasingly concerned about the effect on the national deficit of stimulus packages past, present, and future might have. These concerns are warranted in the sense that this year's deficit will reach $3.3 trillion, which is the largest it has been in recent history. The largest contributor to the growth is these pandemic relief packages from earlier this year. But these stimulus packages are what have kept some businesses open and enabled people who have been forced to stay at home to at least pay some of their bills and keep food on the table. Given the current rhetoric from the Republican Senate, there just doesn't seem to be much of an appetite for another gargantuan stimulus package. But both sides seem to agree that a smaller, more measured stimulus package is going to be needed to get America through the rest of this pandemic. Overall, the $300 extended unemployment benefit program was some help for those folks who are on unemployment and still unable to go back to work. But it's coming to an end, and there's no follow-up stimulus measure close to being passed at this point. So when it fully ends, that's it, unless Congress can do something. We see the pressure mounting on both Republicans and Democrats to get something done. For both parties, it would be ideal politically to do something before the next election happens. But time is ticking and movement has been slow. Republicans have shown a good faith effort to agree to a smaller measure, but the challenge will be to see if both parties can find some middle ground. So maybe around $1.5 trillion for a bill. This way they can both get political wins, we out here can get the support we need, and hopefully the election can bring the necessary shift in our government to make it more proactive in helping people until all this craziness is over. Now this has been your 5-minute nightly dose, and I hope that you found it interesting or helpful or at least useful. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you can get updates when our newest and most informative videos become available. Also, we here at Carelifornia, we know health insurance. So if you have any questions about your health insurance, leave those down below. We'll be happy to make a new video or a new post as soon as we can. Now, other than that, I'm Michael, and this is Carelifornia, wishing you a happy, healthy,